Hi class. So today we're going to be looking at my real life personality versus the personality assessment that we all took. My name is Sarah Ellington, and let's go on ahead and begin. A little bit about me is that I am 24 years old and I work at Starbucks. I work there as a barista. I was a shift manager for about 8 or 9 months, and I chose to demote myself back to being a barista because I did have troubles with certain things in the leadership position, and it just became to be a little bit too much of a challenge for me long term. I am also a certified yoga instructor. However, I've never actually officially taught a yoga class because the final assignment of that yoga teaching training was teaching your own class, and that just really made me doubt myself in many ways when it came to becoming a yoga teacher. But I still do love yoga and I'm passionate about it. I have been married to my husband for 5 years. We met in high school. I just moved out of California due to separating from the military. My husband was enlisted in the Navy, and we're both back in our home state of Ohio. And my husband and I have an online clothing brand, and we are so excited to take that online clothing brand to more in person and have a storefront. I also have 2 adorable dogs. The blonde one is Dunder Mifflin, and the black and white one is Amigo, just in case you were wondering. So after taking this personality assessment, my results was an advocate, INFJA, or otherwise known as an assertive advocate. Here under the traits section, you can see I received some percentages that I'm a little bit more introverted than extroverted. I'm very intuitive. I'm little less feeling than intuitive, very judging, and again, it says I'm very assertive, which I find that surprising. My approach, if it says with the traits that approach life with thoughtfulness and imagination, and that we're guided by principled version of humanism. Through in the roles section, it said that as a diplomat was my role, that it focuses on empathy and cooperation, shining in diplomacy and counseling. Imaginative, warm, empathetic, and influential people, and often play the role of harmonizers. So I do find that to be very, very true. I often like to be the person who is the harmonizer in a situation, and I'm imaginative, warm, empathetic, and people do find me influential. And I also tend to want to aim to understand myself and others, just to understand other people and their situations and where they're coming from. In the strategy section, it was presented to me that I was a confident individualist, so I prefer doing things alone. I choose to rely on my skills and instincts instead of seeking contact with other people, which that is true, and that people who are confident individualists take pride in their skills for their own sake and not to impress others. I also find that to be very true. So a little bit more about how I agree or disagree with some of the results in each category. Some of the traits that I agree with is, and I enjoy meaningful conversations far more than small talk. That's a lot of what I learned about how I am at my work at Starbucks. I'm not much for small talk, but if we just start a meaningful conversation out of nowhere, I love that. Tend to carry around a sense of being different from most people. They did list that as whether you feel that unconsciously or consciously. I do feel that consciously. I think my husband and I might have the same personality type. We both kind of feel like we have a sense that we're different from most people. Because also my personality type was said to be like a rare personality type from the results. Also, I agree that they feel that their life has a unique purpose, a mission that they were put on this earth to fulfill. So I do believe in that. Right now, I'm kind of in a transitional period of my life, so it is a little bit tough to really resonate with that at this moment, but most of the time I do. I did disagree with it saying that that constructive criticism may feel incredibly personal or hurtful, which is not true. Honestly, I take criticism well, especially if it's constructive. If it's constructive, then I take it as for exactly what it is. I don't really like to get too sensitive over things like that. That's just not who I am. So I do disagree with that. In the roles section, I agree a lot with that. People with this personality type see magical beauty where others see the humdrum of daily life. That's definitely where I am at right now after living in California and struggling with where I was and not liking my surroundings, and now being back in Ohio. I'm just loving every bit of it, all the weather and everything. That some people might not like the rain, but I love it. So it's just a little bit of an insight of how I agree with that. Also, free themselves to do things their own way in their own time without comparing to others. Also very true, I don't like comparing myself to others, and I will do things my own way in my own time. Tend to have a deep intuitive sense of what is right for them. I just agree with that. I think that's very true. I feel like that is something that I have that intuitive sense for myself. I did disagree with the fact that they often feel a strong need to belong. That I don't really know if that was a feeling that I often really felt, except for maybe in like middle school, as you know, you're growing through puberty. But that's just something I just don't agree with, as well as it saying that they will, since they feel the need to belong, that would motivate them to do something they otherwise wouldn't. That's definitely not me. I disagree with that, and that's not who I am. The strategy section, I would agree that I would value self-reliance. That's just a really big thing. Is I feel like I like to know that I will be okay on my own. If something were to happen, I know that I'll be okay because I feel very self-reliant. Can handle difficult situations well because they tend to be emotionally secure and resistant to stress. That's very true. I've been through some difficult situations in life, and for the most time, I always feel pretty emotionally secure within myself, so that helps me get through it. Tend to hone in their ideas and skills on their own, and they often prefer to work alone. That's just very true. That's how I am. That's how I like to work. Positive mindset can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, helping those personalities to not only achieve great things, but also find lasting happiness. Very true. My positive mindset can get me through many things in life, and if I have a positive mindset, then I feel like I'm finding lasting happiness. Disagree with the strategies section. I disagreed with it saying that nearly 70% of these types say they have excellent leadership skills. I might be a part of the 30% or less that do not feel like they have great leadership skills. There's some things that I'm good at, but I feel like I mostly struggle with leadership positions and just having confidence with myself within that. The spiral model is a model that I could really relate to after doing some self-evaluating and taking this assessment. I took the assessment that was in our from one of our website links that was given to learn about how you're a decision maker in this class. And it came out as the results of being systematic and external. So systematic meaning that I make decisions in a systematic way of thinking about and analyzing about things before I make the decision. I want to think about all ends of things. And external, meaning that I like to talk to others about my decision before making it. So I do struggle with small and fast-paced decision making. I learned that while being a shift manager at a shift manager at Starbucks. That's just what I learned about myself for the most part. So this model is likely to occur if the decision-making process involves a series of small decisions rather than one large one. It's not quite a step-by-step process, and it suggests a sequential and flexible approach to decision-making. So that's just kind of a model that I can connect with through this assignment, making me realize that that's kind of a weakness that I have, but I am aware of it, so I hope that I can work on that from here on. Some potential barriers that I would have with other colleagues or coworkers in certain situations would be certain personality traits that can cause friction with mine, like people who are heavily opinionated and political. I do have my opinions, but I'm just not a political person about many things, and I'm not one to sensationalize my ideals onto others. I have a tough time working with people who are stubborn. I often will just give in and just let them have their way because I'm just not one to really, I just want to be a harmonizer. I'm not trying to cause any friction. And people who are overly dependent would have a hard time. I feel like I have a hard time training others in certain situations. So if someone's overly dependent and they need help with doing something, I might just end up doing it myself, and that would cause unbalanced workload. The heavily opinionated or political trait can cause an unbalanced communication, same with stubbornness, and all in all, that can cause my creativity to be diminished for that project or that situation. So, after taking this assessment, I received results. Overall, I was an assertive advocate. I do find the word assertive kind of turns me off. I don't really identify with that word. But after reading the content about my personality type, I really do agree with most of what it had to say. I would say it was overall pretty accurate. Just a couple things here and there that I just don't resonate with at all. But overall, I'd say 80–90% that was very accurate. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you found any of this interesting. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing all your other presentations. Thank you, class. Have a good day.